river watershed. A watershed is all of the land that drains to a common point, like the Grand River. Like the Grand River.
Land use in a watershed is important because what we do on land affects the water.
Oh, the river's very important to us. Not the businesses, but all the nature and wildlife that goes on here too.
A healthy river provides life-supporting services. We fish, play, and even eat from it. This water is used in everything we do.
This week, we want to find out if the Grand River is healthy.
We are using the scientific method to test if the Grand River is healthy or not. There are 5 steps to the scientific method. Wait, what were they again?
Step number 1 is ask a question.
Number 2, make observations and do research. Step number 3 is forming a hypothesis.
Step number 4, test your hypothesis.
Step number 5, accept or reject hypothesis.
Good day. Today we're going down to the river, mate, and we're getting observations. Well, the first observation we found was that this stream was, there was things in the bottom, but it was kind of fair to good.
Well, does the stream flow all year? I said yes, the stream flows year-round.
We were observing the diversity of the flow movement, and I rated it very low because there aren't really many ripples or pools. It's mostly just runs.
We've taken some observations at our first spot, but we have to test multiple locations to get an accurate answer to our question. We're observing the erosion of the river and how steep the banks are, and I noticed that over here it's very steep, but along the river trail closer to Old Town it's much more shallow. Here's an example of eroding, and you can see that it's both eroding from the top, from the runoff, from hard surfaces that are behind us, and from the river, from the bottom.
Near this river there's lots of really thick trees and stuff, so it'll help the river become cleaner because with the runoff the trees and plants will help filter the runoff that comes off.
The water was this high!
It will.
So this is a potential habitat. It's a good it would make a good habitat because it's got the overhanging trees, it's sheltered, it's kind of nice. And having a habitat is good for a body of water because it means that there are more ecosystems and it'll help it be healthier.
Point source pollution is like when you can see the pollution, you can just point at the source of the pollution, like right behind me.
I got a fair.
Okay, thank you.
I got a good.
Good. Good.
Good.
Good.
Good.
We are testing the rivers and getting samples of insects because some insects are not very tolerant to streams, and our hypothesis is the river is at least fair.
First we walk along the banks to see if there are any snails or insect cases that could have been washed up from the water.
Well, we're using some equipment to collect the insects, and we're using a D-net. And we're using boots. Boots!
The way that you use a D-net is by sticking the D-net at the bottom of the river and having your partner stick their foot in and stir up the bottom.
And so now we have some samples that we can look at.
Hey Andrew, what did we find today?
We found a minnow.
What did we just find?
A crayfish.
A real one this time?
Yes, this time it was real.
Not artificial.
One day you'll make a find.
That's awesome. What is that?
It's a minnow.
I love that thing.
Oh, yeah. Okay. You got it?
There he is.
Get it?
Oh, that's neat.
He's scared.
Yeah, man. You guys look.
That is so cool.
I think there's a worm.
Yep, there's another little guy. That's good.
And then we have our still flies on top.
So, I'm going to be scraping algae off this rock, and as you can see, it's kind of greenish, and then this side doesn't have any, but we're scraping algae because having diverse algae populations is helpful to a river or a stream.
So now we've got our samples and we're going to take them back to the lab to identify.
What were we hoping to find today? Bugs. Lots of bugs, the kinds that need a very clean environment to live in. We were hoping to find mayflies and stoneflies, and we think we found a couple mayflies and maybe a stonefly. So we hope to find high diversity in our samples because high diversity means a healthy stream.
Today we are testing for dissolved oxygen. It's really important. Animals and organisms need it to breathe. No oxygen, no animals. We're hoping for anything above 5.
We're also testing the pH of the water. We're hoping to get somewhere in the middle of 1, which is the most acidic, and 14, which is the most basic. We're hoping to get a 7, which is where most plants and animals can survive best.
Scientists use probes like this one to test the acidity of the water. We got 6.7, which is okay because we would really like 7, and 5 is where the problems start happening, so it's a little bit in the middle.
So we're going to be using a DO meter, which will measure the dissolved oxygen, and 9 would be amazing, really good, and 5, it's similar to pH, that's where the problems are happening. So. Okay, so it's decided that it's about in the 8.3s, so that's pretty good. We're going to go get more pH readings just so we have a better idea of what the pH is. Well, this time I did get a 7 and a 7.0, so again, very close, so that's good, very good.
We're gonna get some water samples in these jars, and then we're gonna test the water in the jars for E.coli.
Now that we have our sample, we're going to take it back to the lab for testing.
So we're measuring how the electricity moves through the water, and the more pollutants, the higher the number will be. And so we took 1 year of pipe, and then these 3 were from just the river. And this one we got about 270, but this one we got more like 370, which are both pretty high, but it could be higher.